In a bustling city filled with towering buildings and crowded streets, there lived a talented artist named Ethan. His paintings were admired by many, and his gallery was often filled with people praising his work. However, despite all the compliments, a nagging doubt began to creep into his mind. Do they truly love my art? Or are they just being polite? Ethan wondered. What if they secretly criticize my work when I'm not around? Determined to find the truth, Ethan devised an experiment. One early morning, he placed one of his finest paintings on a busy street corner. Beside it, he left a note that read, "If you find a mistake in this painting, please mark it." All day, pedestrians passed by, some stopping to examine the painting. When Ethan returned that evening, he was devastated. His masterpiece was covered in marks, black, red, blue, everywhere. It was as if no one had found a single part of his work free of flaws. Heartbroken, Ethan carried the painting home. He locked himself in his studio, unable to bring himself to paint. Days turned into weeks, and his once vibrant world became dull and lifeless. He withdrew from friends, ignored invitations, and allowed his passion to wither. One evening, his older brother Leo visited him. Leo was a wise and kind-hearted man who had always guided Ethan through life's challenges. Seeing his brother in despair, Leo asked gently, "Ethan, what troubles you?" Ethan sighed and recounted the painful experience. "Maybe I'm not a true artist. Everyone found flaws in my work. I don't think I can paint again." Leo listened carefully, then smiled. "Let's try something different," he said. "Take another painting, one you love, and place it in the same spot, but this time, change the note." Though reluctant, Ethan trusted his brother. The next morning, he placed a new painting at the same street corner. This time, the note read, "If you find a mistake in this painting, please correct it." That evening, he and Leo returned to see the results. To Ethan's amazement, the painting was untouched. Not a single mark. "Why didn't anyone fix the mistakes?" Ethan asked, confused. Leo chuckled. "It's easy to criticize, but much harder to correct. Most people are quick to point out flaws, but few have the knowledge or skill to actually improve something." Ethan stared at the painting, his mind racing. Leo continued, "The problem wasn't your painting, it was that you were seeking feedback from people who may not even understand art. Criticism without wisdom is just noise." Ethan felt a weight lift from his chest. He realized that his self-worth should not be based on the opinions of those who had no idea how to create art themselves. He smiled for the first time in weeks. The next morning, he picked up his brushes again, his heart light and his passion reignited. From that day on, he painted not for validation, but for the sheer joy of creating. Moral of the story: there will always be those who criticize, not to help, but simply because it's easy to do so. However, true growth comes from listening to those who genuinely want to help, and more importantly, believing in oneself despite the noise of the world.